Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Memechusetts and we are back with Rin. So Rin and I got together again tonight and this was one of the most ridiculous games that we had tonight, so I figured I'd show you guys. But anyway, we're going to be in the Massachusetts, obviously. You know, we're both running secondary builds. We both have Justinian Lions as an inspiration as well to increase the fire chance when we're healing. And we are going to just have a sweaty game, but at the same time, a very fun Massachusetts game. So I hope you're ready. It's going to be a good one, folks. I promise. You guys know the deal by now. We out here, we're going to do things. Now we're going to push forward. We're going into the left. We spawn hotspot left side. So obviously we're going to push towards the cap. Now in the Massachusetts, when you're running a secondary build, generally the goal is to get up close and personal, obviously. I don't run like the maximum range on this thing for secondaries, but I've got good solid range with it. I want to say it's like 9.6 kilometers or something like that on the secondaries. So it's solid. Now our destroyer is an Akatsuki on this side of the map. We are top tier in a tier 6 lobby, tier 7 lobby, so we're good there. Now, we initially get a Bismarck spotted. I get ready to shoot. He's out of my range, but as soon as I get ready to shoot him, of course, he disappears, because that's the way the game works. Every single time I get ready to shoot something, they disappear at that moment. Like, if it's a gun waiting for the guns to turn, as soon as the guns get on target, that's when he disappears, or, you know, what have you. In this case, it was just we didn't have the range. Now, Iowa gets spotted. We're going to go ahead and shoot at him. That means we are spotted, obviously. So you would think that this destroyer that's in the sea cap would know that this is a bad idea to just sit in this cap. You can clearly see there are two Massachusetts running directly towards you. Now, obviously, our goal here is to use the island to break contact. We're going to take another shot at the Iowa's superstructure as he's reversing slightly. He is angled, so we don't want to hit his bow or his belt armor. We want to hit his superstructure. We take the shot up high, and we are going to get wrapped in behind the island here. And you can see we did get a solid hit into a superstructure. We're up to 13,000 damage now, which I think was about 9,000 more damage in that last salvo. So now we know that the destroyer that's here is the Friesland, right? You can see him firing his guns. He gets spotted here, and it's at this point I tell Ren, like, we're going right at this guy. He has no defense. His only defense is to stay at range. He cannot handle two Massachusetts up close and personal. And Ren and I are going to disrespect this guy in the most ridiculous way that there is. And that is, we're not going to shoot the Friesland with our main guns. We're going to use the secondaries to kill him instead. We're both going to priority target him, and we're both going to use our secondary boosters and just see if we can kill him with just the secondaries. Now, he has lost some health, and I do think I take a shot at him with the guns here initially, but you can see the secondaries from Rin's Massachusetts punched him right in the mouth, took a good chunk off of him. He's about to lose some more. I think they actually missed him that time, and now he's in range for my secondaries. Iowa turns full broadside in front of us. And so we're going to reach out and touch him while we're trying to shoot the secondaries at the Friesland. Now, unfortunately, I do end up going behind Rin here. Now, Rin recognizes that the Friesland is going for torpedo mode. Friesland does have one torpedo. Luckily, we have the rear guns, and we're able to save Rin from being rammed there. That was clearly what that Friesland's thought process was. And honestly, it's not the worst idea. You're not going to get anything out of it. You're going to die. You might as well try to take as much health. He wouldn't have killed him. But we reach out and we paddle that freaking Iowa. That Iowa just begged for that. Like, you cannot turn full broadside in front of two Massachusetts. Two anything, but two Massachusetts. You got 45 caliber guns. We're not going to overpin you. It's going to hurt. And this allows us to turn all of our attention towards the North Carolina. You can see our secondaries are hitting. Now, my secondaries in this particular game weren't that accurate. Normally, my secondaries are ridiculously accurate out of the Massachusetts, but today, not so much. But we are going to reach out. We're going to touch this guy a little bit. And I'm not going to lie, I do slightly underestimate the North Carolina a little bit here. And this isn't the last time I'm going to underestimate people in this lobby. Just putting that out there. I make a few mistakes in this lobby. But we do have the secondaries still reaching out, still touching the guy. We get a fire on the North Carolina. And you can see I'm aiming higher, but I'm not going too high. I'm kind of aiming for the back of the ship. We know we overmatch, so all we got to do is hit the back of a ship. Well, he starts to turn away, and that makes all of our shells miss, which is real unfortunate. And we're just continuing. And that's when he gets the Citadel on me, and I'm like, at this angle. Okay. Alright, well, duly noted. Not going to let that happen again, as my secondaries continue to pound him over and over and over again. Ren, I think, gets the fire on him this time, as he damage conned my fire. He fires at us, we fire back at him. He's going to die. He gets a good solid salvo into us, but it's not the worst. And then my secondaries start kicking off the other side of the ship at a Fiji. So obviously we're going to turn around. We're going to try to get shots on the Fiji as quickly as we can. And this Fiji actually ends up... Again, I underestimated so many people in this lobby. Alright? I vastly outplayed myself on a lot of occasions here. Fiji goes down and I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'm not expecting anything from the Fiji. I figure he was probably shooting at somebody else or whatever. No, he launched torpedoes at me, and they will be arriving shortly. Fortunately, I still have my damage con, so if he does cause a flood, I'll be good there. And it's at this point that Ren decides to go ahead and go for the Alpha Cap, and I split off, and I come over here to start attacking these guys as they come out of the Bravo Cap. And there's the torpedoes that I was talking about from the Fiji. Fortunately, I take it on the belt. It does very little damage, 7,000 damage, and no flood. So we get pretty lucky there. And I'm coming over to try to help my team. I've got a destroyer over there. I've got a battleship over there. I've got a cruiser. Or no, it's just a battleship and a destroyer at this point. So we're going to try to help them. Now, look at the destroyer behind me. The destroyer behind me is going all the way back around the edge of the map to try to attack the Bismarck, who's currently engaged in a fight with a Gneisenau on our team, instead of, like, helping to flip bases. Now, my original goal was to come over here and attack these guys as broadside. I figure these guys are going to be fighting our guys for a little while, and I'll have a good chance to absolutely ruin these guys. Well, Bismarck takes out the Gneisenau, which leaves my broadside wide open to 15-inch guns, and that's no bueno. And not only that, I'm not going to be able to make it to the base in Bravo Cap before these guys get out because they've already killed the battleship that they were fighting. So now, I'm in a situation where I'm in open water, I'm in range for everybody on the enemy team to start shooting me, and I'm in trouble. Alright, so I immediately start to turn away. Before these guys can get their guns on me, I'm trying to get myself turned back towards Ren so that we can get together, because I have a feeling we're going to need will to rebuild in the near future. Our team managed to drop so hard, so fast, that I put myself in a really bad position all of a sudden. And now I've got a Florida, I've got a Gneisenau, I've got a Bismarck, I've got a Wichita, and I've got a Gajimata that all want to have some fun with me. So we turn out, we use one of our heals. Again, we have 5 heals with this build, so that's the good news. We're going to use every single one of them in this fight. And so we get ourselves turned away to negate the damage as much as possible. Unfortunately, we underestimate, in the theme of the video, that the Florida is no joke. And I've talked about this multiple times. Just because it's got little guns doesn't mean you can play around with it. And he blaps the crap out of me. He gets a lot of those little shells. It's kind of like fighting a Leon. Alright, you know the Leon has little guns, and so you don't expect much out of it. But you throw enough little shells at something, and you catch somebody like he did, where he caught me in a superstructure with the majority of them, it hurts a lot. So we do get some shots into the Wichita there while he was running into the Florida. And now the Wichita, being less than 15,000 health, should be relatively easy to deal with. Even though it is a Wichita. This particular Wichita player is not the kitey cruiser kind, apparently. But we are going to try to see if we can't reach out and get rid of him. He's our bigger threat right now. Obviously, we're trying to get back. We're almost in range. for a will to rebuild. And also, we're getting another heal up. And we still have 2 more heals to go. Now, Florida is coming directly at us. We know we overmatched, so we're going to aim for the Florida's bow and see if we can't punch him. That'll stop him from coming in. Maybe get a Citadel if we're lucky, if we get a good hit on him. But at this point, we're just trying to push him back. We don't want these guys to continue to charge us all at the same time. And you can see we only get 5,000 damage off of him. He returns and does roughly similar. I think it was about 3,000, maybe 3,500. But the freaking Wichita is a problem. He's able to, because he has 203mm guns and he's firing HE, he's able to do damage pretty much everywhere on my ship because 32mm of armor gets punched by a HE that is 203mm. So, yeah. We take another shot at the Florida here. We're turning out again, trying to avoid getting set on fire. We do have will to rebuild going. You can see we do get a good hit onto the Florida that time. The secondaries are starting to go off now. He's in range for those. We get turned out just enough to avoid most of the damage from the Florida, and we get set on a perma-fire by the freaking cruiser. Now, we do get a fire going with our secondaries on Florida. He's going to DC that, like, immediately, and so we're going to be able to take a shot here. He's wide open, begging for it. I take a shot, but then Rin says he's dead, so I didn't need to fire the front guns. So I have the front guns ready to shoot at the Wichita. Now again, we're still down in the 8,000, 9,000 health area. We're going to go ahead and use another heal. It's a bit premature on this heal. Probably going to come back and bite me later in this match. Could have definitely used a little bit more hit points. If I had waited, been able to put out the fire, waited for will to rebuild to get me all the way up to like 12,000 hit points, I'd maybe get up to 15 or get a little bit more hit points, a couple extra 1,000 hit points. Bismarck's shooting at us, but here's where I change course. Rin is basically sitting broadside to these guys, and what she's doing, she's trying to attract their attention, okay? They are all shooting me. I'm low health. I've been on will for a little bit, and I'm trying to heal, so I am bow in now. She was able to keep me relatively safe while I was turning in. And now, I get rid of the Wichita, which is huge. Getting rid of the radar cruiser is massive. But watch our destroyer in the B cap. Our destroyer literally sails out of the cap for no reason. Like, grab the base. Why are you even playing at this point? You get the freaking base. And you'll see, I go over here and I make sure I ping the base again. You can see I'm trying to, like, ping it. I'm like, dude, for real, get the base cap. What are you doing with your life? Now, Gneisenau, we know we overmatch. Bismarck, we don't. However, Bismarck is about to make a really stupid turn, so we're going to go through the bow side plating if we can on the Gneisenau. We're going to get a good hit here, over 11,000 damage. You can see the Gajimata is doing his thing. We're going to use our secondary priority target to get him lit up so that we can hit him. We're about to use our last heal here because we know we need it. Our secondaries are doing their thing. You can see we do get the close quarters medal and our Kraken unleashed and a Confederate for Rin all up in here. And then we reach out, we blap the Bismarck, we know he's dead. And now I know that the Gneisenau is going to ram me. This is, you know, pretty obvious at this, or not ram me, but torp me. There's nothing I can do about this. I'm trying to bait him in and then turn out, but I mean, he didn't fall for it. He literally held his torps and got me perfectly, but he's got no health left. We did everything we needed to do. We pick up the first, I think we had the first blood, we have the high cow, we have a close quarters, we have the Kraken unleashed, we have a Confederate. So we got all the things. And we end up with 151,000 damage, 118 targets hit, and we set 4 fires with our secondaries. And most of that happened there at the end when we set the fires with that last heal. We don't always get a chance to make it or take full advantage of the Justinian Lions when we're healing, but when we do, it's pretty hilarious when the secondaries do their job. But as you can see, 150,000 damage, first blood, Confederate, close quarters, high cow, Kraken unleashed. We get the 6-pack, and we get top of the team with Rin coming in second, the double Memechusetts coming in clutch, both of us over 2,000 base XP. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.